So this is the strength, right? I can start the class, right? Okay. Okay, I'll wait for 4 minutes. Let's start class at 11:10. Okay. Meanwhile, Arvind, just inform everyone to join. Meanwhile, did everyone had a Postman app, or did anyone log in web, or did anyone used Postman before?
Yes, Saka, some adults have an idea on Postman.
Okay.
I also had a I regularly use Postman to check how my AP is working our project and all the things.
Okay. Instead of checking the APIs, did anyone used for any other use case? Like how many users are hitting that API, or what is the best practice to use in Postman? Did anyone know? Otherwise, did anyone perform crude operations in Postman? Like, did anyone check crude operations? So let's plan this session very interactive. Like, I'll be asking questions because Postman, I think most of the senior devs know, because it's the basic concept only, but basics are very important for anything we are aiming for big. So let's start from very basics, and let's keep the session very interactive. Like, whoever knows, just tell that answer. I won't say you're wrong, you're right, nothing at all. You just say whatever you feel, and let's make it very interactive. So meanwhile, if anybody don't have Postman in your laptop, or just uh, you just log in through your browser, you just sign in the Postman browser or in app. So let's start our class now. So I'll share my screen. So is my screen visible, right? So Postman, as everybody know, it is used for testing REST APIs. It's not only used for REST API testing; it is also used for uh, SOAP API, GraphFull APIs, which we are not using right now. But in previous days, GraphFull and SOAP API were used frequently. It was written in XML. Later on, we get REST APIs, and these REST APIs are easy to use, and it's structured, well structured, and it's fast to access. So it's highly scalable. So we are using REST APIs nowadays. So for testing these REST APIs, we definitely need a tool. Instead of sending the API to like in the MNCs, for example, we have different roles like a backend developer and the front end developer. So the backend developer who writes the code and develops the API need to test before giving it to the front end developers. So for testing the APIs, we have different kind of tools. The Postman is one of them, and we also have Thunder client in the VS Code, which is used for less API which for small APIs, but this Postman can handle also large APIs. So this Thunder client we can use in VS Code for the small things, but when it comes to large amount of data through an API, sending large amount of data through an API, we can use this Postman. So the basic and the primary use case of this Postman is to test the APIs, and we can also test the load of that API. Like if 100 persons use that API at a time, what is the output? Like, is it working fine, or it is taking some latency, or is it working fine? Like load limiting also we can test using this Postman. So, how to download the Postman? So, to download the Postman, first you need to go to Chrome and you just need to type Postman download for Windows. Then you'll get an site. Then you need to download the Postman for the Windows. If you don't have that, you can also do it in the browser as well. For Postman, we definitely need the account credentials. You can sign up with the email and password, or you can sign up with the Google account as well. So in Postman, mostly we test the CRUD operations. CRUD means, did anyone know about CRUD operations? In Munstack, we mostly use. So as Kiet-Hub, we mostly work on Munstack. So anybody aware of CRUD operations? What we do, why we need this? Anybody can answer this question. So I also said in the starting of the session, let's make this very interactive. So just tell me what is CRUD operations? At least what is CRUD means. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, I guess you are audible.
Yes. What is CRUD then?
Young
So
can
good morning, senior.
Good morning.
Myself Mohan, and the CRUD stands for first create, read, update, and delete.
Why we need this CRUD? Mohan, it's correct. Like you said it well. Why we need this CRUD? Like to fetch the API to the front end and to display the data, to update the data, to delete the data, we definitely need this CRUD operations. So the backend is mostly performed using this operations only. So these are the operations which we test in the Postman as well. So in Postman we have as get, post, put, patch, delete, the same things will apply in the backend code as well. We'll also write the same logic in the backend for the APIs. So get is to read the API, and post is to get is to get the data from the API. Post is to post the data to the front end, and update is to update the data, and delete is to delete that API data. So that is the main uses of CRUD. So through Postman, we can also check this all the operations, and I'll show you in live. But as of now, the difference between put and patch, it's the most important interview question. The thing is, put is mostly used to update the entire data of that API columns, but patch is to modify the existing column data, or existing name, or existing roll number. Any one of it you can change, but the put is completely changing the entire that row data, like completely changing of both name and ID as well. So patch is changing the limited portion, and the put is to update the every column in an API. So delete, we can delete the entire row, or delete the entire data. We can use delete operation. So in Postman, we also have the collections and variables. So I said, we all write code. Everybody write the code. But the thing is, the structure of the code is very important. The way you are structuring your code, your folders, your files, it should be easy to read, it should be easy to understand, it should be optimistic, and it should be scalable as well. You, whatever code you're writing, whatever, nowadays everyone is using GPT, and so but the thing is, how you organize your code, like in the models you need to write the schemas, in the routes you need to write the specific get and post operations. This all the organizing code. So for example, I'll say very basic example. So for port, everybody write port equals to 8,000. Am I right or wrong? But you should not write port equals to 8,000 like that in any of the code which you are writing. You should always mention that port number in the env only, because the person who didn't understand, for example, you are the developer, you will understand the code. For example, you are passing that code to the tester, some testing person. So that tester will not understand your code. He is not good at writing the code. So then what he'll do, whenever the port is not working, whenever he's getting some errors, he need to change that port. You wrote port in 100 lines of code in some different files. How will he understand? So always we need to write these things, like API keys, and the URLs, like HTTP localhost colon 8,000, like that in an env file. So that we are using the env variable everywhere when we need that, the same like port, or you are like local host, we need to use that env variable. That's the best practice of writing the code. Always use this practice while you are writing the code. So in Postman also we have that practice, so that you always no need to write the HTTP localhost every time. Okay. Did you guys got understood what I have said, or do you guys have any doubts? Am I going fast? Just a minute, guys. Just a minute. Did anyone have any queries? Like, is it okay? Arvind, am I audible now?
Yes, senior.
So we also have the environments, scripts, and tests in the Postman. Like, what are all the environments you know till now? So we have environments, different environments. So what are the environments you know? Environment variables we'll use. What are they? For example, the basic thing I'll ask, we all create like virtual environment for the ML projects. Whenever we are doing, we always create the virtual environment. So what is the use of virtual environment? Why we are creating that? Did anybody know? Anyone? So we create virtual environment because we already install different versions in our system. So for specific ML projects, we require some different versions. So when we install the libraries without using that virtual environment, that libraries will collide with the existing versions which we already have in our system. So that causes some errors, and that also changes the versions of that libraries in our system. So for that particular project, if we require some specific version, if we install them in virtual environment, that does not affect the versions in our system which exist previously. So that's why we create a virtual environment. So different environments we have is local, and one is local and one is global. One is collection level. When it comes to Postman, we when it comes to databases, we all know we have collections variable level, local and global level. So these are the variable types which I'll explain you in the Postman also, but better to know the scope of variables. It's a very important interview question. Even in every interview for a fresher, they'll ask about the scope of a variable, like global level scope, local scope, block scope. This is the very basic questions which we neglect, but these questions will be asked in interviews. So better to know those questions as well. And we all work on Munstack. We all need to know about JavaScript. In JavaScript, we have var, let, and const. What is the scope of var? What is the scope of let? What is the scope of const? These are the like basic questions which we need to know. We need to be strong at our basics first. So in environments also, we have local, global, collection level, variable level, name level, different kinds of environments. So in Postman, I think nobody is aware of scripts, but in Postman we also have scripts. Like we have two scripts. Like one is prescript and another one is postscript. So if we write that script, we mostly write the scripts in Postman to test whether the API is successful, API is sending the data properly or not. If we get the status code as 201, then the API is successful. Like the API is fetching data properly, or like giving the data properly. So the scripts is used to test the API whether it's working. If we write the script, that is pm.post uh, parenthesis 201, we'll write a script. So what it will do is, when we run the API in the Postman, so if we get the status code as 201, below we'll get the status codes, right? If we get the status code as 201, the script also says the test is successful, like that. I'll show you. So, how many of you know the status codes? Like what the status codes mean? Did anybody get work like observe the status codes in any of your projects? Like Virendra, you previously said you worked on Postman. So have you ever observed the status codes and all?
Yes, sir. I have observed status code quite more than time. So every request you will get a status code. That means the 200 is a verified successful status code, and 404 is a not found error, and 403. So the status code depends on what the status of the API, and so if there is any errors, we can find out through the status codes.
Hmm. So for the indication of successful status code is between 200 to 299. These numbers mostly for post will get 201 as a success code, means that API is working. So what is this code basically says is whether our API working or what is the error in that API, we can know using this status codes. So it's better to remember few of the status codes. We have some like frequent status codes, like for when we use the post operation. If the post operation is successful, we get the status code as 201. It's fixed for all the post operations. And for the error, so the status code will always be like 400 to 500, because if we have any server error, if we have any backend, like if we are running two backends at a time, or if there is any collide in the port or anything, we'll get a 500 error. It's a server error. Otherwise we'll get a 403 forbidden error, like that. If we get a status code on the 400 or around 400 to 499, it's an error in the API. So these are the few status codes you need to remember. At least five. We have some important status codes. For get we have 200 as success status code. For post we have 201. So for success, and 403 is a forbidden error. 500 internal server error. Like that, there are few main things which you need to remember. Um, so let's open Postman. If you guys also have Postman, just open the Postman. So this is how the Postman interface looks like. So here we have collections, environments, flows, history. So this is the this works my workspace, this overview, this all called header. And then here if we need to like change the sidebar, we can also change the sidebar. If we click on this icon, we can you can also choose whatever some monitor bar, those options. So database, we mainly deal with the collections. So we need to create a collection. For example, I'm creating a blank collection. So here I don't have any request, like this collection name I'm giving it Postman plus. This is a collection. So in this, I can make a request. So if we click on the plus icon here, we can make a request. So for here, I can make different kinds of API testing. Like for the get API, we can test. We can test with the post. We can test with put patch until it. These are the APIs we can test. So let's go to some example. So dummy APIs sample API for testing. So we have some sample APIs available. This is the website. You can see the sample APIs in this website. Okay. So I'll mention the link in the chat so that whoever had the Postman in the browser or through a desktop app, you can you can use those dummy APIs and you can verify in the Postman parallelly along with me. So just go to details. So just copy this copy link and just paste it in Postman. So see, you get a 200 success code. I said forget 200 success code means that API is working. So we have some data but in that API. So here we have a data which is passed through that API. So this is how we test the get route. So for get, we don't need to give any kind of body, any kind of JSON data. Nothing we need to give. We just need to check whether the API is giving data or not. That is the basic get operation. So let's see if we need single employee data. Then so for single employee data, it's like slash ID. So, due to some sample API error, if we run multiple times the same API, we are getting some error. But that's okay. So it's not taking, but so So we are able to run at once only, otherwise we are getting some error. It may be caused due to we can delete this one. I'm deleting everything and again I'm testing. So this is the get thing. So I think you understood how to check the get route. Let's save it. We are not gonna run this multiple times. Just save this one here. And you can also change this name of the request, like it's for get, right? Get request. So the name here is also got changed. Now we'll go to post request. So for the post request, you need to change here for first post and then go to that site. So here we have the URL for post. For post, we always need to paste the JSON data in the in the body. Like first you need to go to body and you need to select raw. In that raw, you need to select the JSON. After selecting the JSON, you need to paste the body, sample body, and then we need to send. So you got the success, like the request is successful. That means here post what we are doing is whether we are adding the data actually. So this previously in get we have ID, employee name, employee salary, employee age, etc. So in post what we are doing is we are adding this data to this in this API. So whenever we need to add some new data, we can add it through the post. So for example, when we build in Mernstack application, for example, phone book application, initially we don't have any kind of phone books, anything. So we need to add some data, like when the user fill that form or something, when the user fill the phone number and the name, it need to add into our database and it need to show in the front end as well. So first we'll post and then we'll display the data. First we'll post it to the database, whatever user fill the details like name, phone number. First we'll first the user enter those details, we'll post that to database. From database we'll again get the data that and will show in the front end. That's how the process works. So the post is used to add the data. I think you understood about post. If you have any queries, you just let me know. You just ask me. You can stop me and ask me at any time. So now we can see for so now we can see for put. Put means for put and delete we definitely need the IDs, because at that particular ID we need to change the data. Like for example, we have 100 columns in our database, for example. So so you need to change the specific record which is having the ID of 21 in those 100 records. Then you need to specify the ID and then you need to update. If we need to delete also, we need to specify the ID. And in get also you can get through the specific ID, but here it's not working in this dummy in this dummy thing, but you can check in the code. So here also you need to give the JSON data. Previously we have given, so previously we have given salary 123 23 in the post, but now we are updating that one. So in the body raw, we just need to paste this. Actually, this API is not working. So let's see. In another website also we'll see. We'll check for both are not working. So we'll use this one. So here the API is working, and this is the data we have inserted.